So, on we plod. Welsh flags there. Another Welsh flag there. Oh, that looks nice, to be fair. That Welsh flag hanging up from that house. Time that shot so that bus would go past right in front of me. Believe that and you'll believe anything. For those of you who wish to maybe indulge in some quiet contemplation and pay your respects to Lewis Valentine, this monument exists here off the main road going through Llanddulas. I'm a little bit surprised it's there. I thought it had been placed in the churchyard here, though this wasn't a church where Lewis Valentine or his father used to preach. I think I mentioned the Bethesda Church earlier. And of course over there, that's Mill Street there, those old buildings. And there we have the Valentine Pub, still open, so do go there for a pint if you're passing. And of course named in honour of Lewis Valentine, and maybe a little bit as well his father, Samuel Valentine, who was also, well, he was as far as I could make out, he worked in the local Llanddulas quarry, and he was also, I suppose you'd say, a part-time preacher. So probably where Lewis himself got it from. Let's take a very quick look here. Not going to hang about. Once again, small village like Llanddulas. It's just another really nice spot, isn't it, to come. The old moles have been out, I see. Must be getting wet then. I think once the moles start digging like that, looking for new pastures, it usually means the ground where they were is getting a bit wet, which I'm surprised at because we haven't really had that much rain. But this is a nice church. Reminds me a teeny weeny little bit of the church up in Clipterfin as well. Open. Shall we go in? Let's read what's written on here. That's nice. Beautiful old Welsh church. Personally, I don't think we make enough of the lovely churches that we do have here in North Wales. The one in Conway springs to mind. Once again, when you go to Italy, you know, they want tourists coming in, often even into their local parish churches. They invite them to come and sit and contemplate for a while, look around. Maybe we should be doing more of that here. Beautiful. Beautiful venue. The organ. Always always reminds me of Terry Jones, Monty Python. I think that's The Last Supper. Lovely. I enjoyed that. I do like looking round churches and cathedrals, etc. Anyway, let's get back onto the main road. From being a gorgeous, bright morning, it's gone a little bit dull and misty. And we're back in the room. Didn't notice that before when I was coming in. Under this Lychgate on the writing, which I think is in Welsh. Yeah, it's Welsh, it's not Latin. So there you go, I'll hover on it for those of you who would like to read that, if you can see it. We'll be looking at something else that's hard to see soon as well. But for now, we'll carry on the Lewis Valentine, as I call it, route. Lots of wildlife, birds flying around. This is the road to Abergele, the Abergele stretch. And when I was filming just now, some guy slammed his brakes on coming down that hill. I think he may have thought I was taking a speed. Nice church there. So that's the Abergele stretch going that way. We'll come back to here after, because for now I want to go that way and then do a left up there to where Lewis Valentine lived as a young child, was brought up. Another lovely church. It's more of a church hall, that bit, as I remember it. Quite a large area. Fairly level road now. It does get a bit steep when we do a left turn. And then what we'll do, we'll come back to where I began filming this turn off, over there by the church, because I want to carry on walking up that main road and show you something else that I think is of interest. Lewis Valentine was brought up in a house called Hillside on a road called Clipterfin, and It's over there, that's Clipterfin there. When he was in what we would now call high school, he attended the Colwyn Bay Higher Grade School. That now is what we know as Arias High School, Arias Park. Not sure how he would have got there from here around the early 1900s. Maybe a train from Llanddulas railway station to Colwyn Bay or Old Colwyn. Another nice church tucked away in the countryside, possibly now converted into a private residence. Anyway, let's go up Clipterfin. I'm not sure which one of these properties is hillside, where Lewis Valentine was brought up with several siblings, I believe. And once again, I'm not going to pry, they're private properties now, or residences, so I don't want to impose on people. But if we do pass the house, or a house that has the name Hillside chiselled into the stone work by the gate or something, then I'll stop and show you that. Oh, it's not too bad a stroll, to be fair. Once again, it's lovely here. I think the original name of Plaid Cymru was, when it was formed, 1924 I think, was Plaid Genedlaethol Cymru. Bit of a mouthful possibly for people to remember, so at some point they dropped, as far as I'm aware, the Genedlaethol bit, which means national, and just kept the Plaid Cymru bit, or maybe they hadn't dropped it but they just don't use it. Once again, answers on a postcard to old man, out of breath villas, getting tired street, somewhere in North. Now here I'm going to put up an old photograph because it shows these properties here, and maybe that gives us a clue as to where Lewis Valentine was brought up. Okay, I couldn't find a hillside, so we'll leave that one there. We're now going to walk back that way actually, and now do a right turn back to that church with the clock tower, and then walk back up the main road, but we're actually going to be going over there, so it would be much quicker if I just did that left there and went down there. But I want to go back to the route where I left it, really. So, oh gosh, starting to get hungry, so let's plod on. Yeah, you know, I thought hillside might have been chiselled into a stone pillar by the front gate or something, but no. There's a lot of houses called Bryn Teg around here. Llanddulas actually has some absolutely fantastic old stone houses, really quite exceptional architecture, to be fair. There's the chalets up there where we were before, by Arnold House. I think is that Arnold House just peeking out there? Whitish, cream coloured thing there, possibly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the Lewis Valentine section of your walk. You've got an interest, like I said, Welsh social history, religion even, and politics, then he's certainly someone worth having a look into. Of course, he went to prison, didn't he, with Saunders Lewis, the 1930s, first political act of resistance, I suppose, from Welsh nationalists. Interesting stuff. And you know, the small village of Llanddulas has actually given the world quite a lot, hasn't it, in terms of one or two interesting characters. And as we walk back towards the point where we left the main road, I just thought I'd mention as well, because it's just popped into me head, there's also a Lewis Valentine Congo Institute connection. Congo Institute, later called the African Institute, I think. Young men and women were brought over from the Congo, I think the Belgium Congo, there's two Congos, or there was, and brought to Colwyn Bay. So if you Google it, Congo Institute, Colwyn Bay, you should find plenty of information. When Lewis Valentine was at the higher grade school, Arias High School now, Colwyn Bay, he became very friendly with a chap, or a young man there called Lahamni. But when he was interviewed at the Como nursing home on Kelham Road, Ross-on-Sea, where he spent his last few years, Lewis Valentine talked about how much he admired Lahamni, became friendly with him, and I can see maybe how the ethics of the Congo Institute kind of influenced Lewis's social and political thinking. Back on the main stretch now. So, across the very busy road, and it is busy. As soon as I say that, there's not a car in sight. Let's carry on now up here, because I want to show you something else. Ooh! That's very interesting. Don't seem to be bothering that bird, does it? That fairly loud bell ringing. According to my phone here, which I'm filming this with, that, oh, you can't see it now, that church over there, its clock was ringing for midday, but it was in fact 3 minutes to 12, so it was a bit previous. Difficult filming here because of all the traffic, but that there, I don't know why, but the name Maid Marian's Leap comes to mind when I'm looking at that, but I don't know if that is Maid Marian's Leap. I'm probably wrong. Anyway, just further along here, across the road, which I'm going to cross in a minute, when the traffic allows. Nice, isn't it? Castle is further along this road, going in that direction, and of course on the grounds of Grich Castle during COVID is where what's it called, I'm a Celebrity was filmed. I've never really watched that programme myself, not my cup of tea, like, you know. It's another one of those slits in the wall, done for decorative purposes, I think. It's a bit low, isn't it, to be firing your bows and arrows out of against an advancing enemy. Traffic coming along this road, doesn't half motor, and this is what we've come to see. An old Milestone. I know very little about it, but I personally, around here, have never seen a milestone like that. And it's really not clear what's written on it. I'm going to turn my camera off, put my glasses on, and take a good look at what I think is written on it, and then I'll let you know what I think. Okay, standing at the bus stop across the road now, so my luck, a bus will turn up now. There's the Milestone. You'd hardly notice it really, but at least it's not overgrown. There again, if it had been overgrown, might have preserved it better. Ivy over it. Okay, I'm going to show you an extremely high-tech, it's cost me hundreds of pounds to make, graphic of what I think is written on that. Oh, it didn't stop. The bus didn't stop on that Milestone. So here it is now. There you go. That's what I think I can make out that's written on the Milestone. Chester, London, the two bottom left hand towns written there, and then on the other side Llandudno, Conway, Bangor. So the top two I haven't got a clue. I'll look online for some photographs, and if I find anything I'll put it up there. Well, that's quite intriguing, isn't it? Shame it's being left to wear away like that. Okay, it's later now, and welcome to my office, by the way. Also doubles up as a greenhouse. I started using this place as my office during lockdown, and kind of carried on using it really. Anyway, back to what I was talking about, which is the guide stone. Guide stone. Ooh. Hello, puss. That's what I thought was on the stone. Following research, it looks like this is what is actually on the stone. So the top two I looked at, couldn't make them out. Well, here the research tells me it was Abergele, St Asaph, then I think we already could see Chester and London, and then on the other side I could make the top three out but not the bottom. Well, apparently it's not Llandudno, it's Llanddulas, where we've just come from, so that makes sense. Then Conway, spelt with an A as it was back then, Bangor, and then apparently Cemmaes. Now, I don't know why Cemmaes is seen as a significant end destination on this particular turnpike road back in the 18th century. There will be a reason for it, I assume, if that's correct. But if anyone out there knows why Cemmaes was seen as a significant destination back then, I'd be very interested to know. So, what we're going to do now, Llanddulas that way, rid of oil up that road, Abergele that way, but we're going to go down here, Beach House Road, which takes us back down to the beach. So you can make out just about the cars travelling along the good old A55 expressway over there. Over there. There you can see the expressway there, the gap in the trees, the cars, and there is something down here actually that does ever so slightly grind my gears. And when we get to it, I'll explain why. And it's this that's grinding my gears ever so slightly. Why? because this, of course, with the A55 expressway running along the top of it, is a modern concrete section construction. But what the people who constructed this section of the road did, they then cladded it with local limestone, and I think that looks good, doesn't it? I like it. So my question is, why wasn't that done along the entirety of the A55 expressway? So as you come up from the prom, from Colwyn Bay Prom up into Areas Park, that horrible thing that's there now, why didn't they clad that in local stone? And I can think of a few other bridges as well. Anyway, that was my little gripe. Yeah, looks nice, man. I like it. Oh, nice cool breeze. It's gone cloudy now. And you know what? They've done the other side as well. So well done, whoever the construction company was that built this. I think visually it sits more comfortable with the old railway viaduct bridge, and that's great. That is a standard that should have been adhered to along the entire stretch of the A55, in my opinion. But hey ho. So, for example, would it have been feasible to clad this in stone instead of that awful design there, whatever it is? We'll never know. Or maybe even clad that brutalist monstrosity of a bridge there with local stone. That railway bridge there is better. Nearly there. That's more like it. But then, of course, you've got that behind it. Railway architecture circa the mid 1840s. A55 architecture circa the mid 1980s. I know which one I prefer. I bet old Lewis Valentine and possibly Evelyn Waugh came for a few walks down here and under that bridge there, under the railway line. And we're here now, back on the coastal path. So we go that way to get to Abergele. May take a wander that way one day. That's where we've just come from, and then this way back to Colwyn Bay. Caravan park here. It's not the greatest beach. Oh dear. The bit of cloud is starting to disperse now, so we might have some sun again soon. But you can still make out the windmills, or whatever the technical term for them is. A little bit of a stony sand patch there. Once again, I used to bring the kids here quite a lot. I keep saying this, don't I? When they were little. Led by an immature and irresponsible father, my children, when they were very young, used to clamber all over this rockwork here. But thankfully, it turned them into the people, now they're adults, that I love and admire. So maybe the several near-death experiences were worth it. Joke. I'll also mention salmon, and I'll leave that one there, because if you know, you know. The original Llanddulas railway station eventually became Clipterfin station, and the Llanddulas station then was situated over here somewhere. I like trains, but I'm certainly no train spotter with any avid knowledge. But if you're interested, I think that's something else you can look up. I think there are photographs of the old Llanddulas railway station that was here. And if I come across one when I'm back home after I've had my dinner, of course, I'll put it up on this video. Even the red brick there on that viaduct looks better than the concrete monstrosities that blight the North Wales coast along the route of the A55. But that bridge there, of course, is carrying the railway. I don't think that would have been the original bridge or viaduct, personally. I think the original, built in the mid-1840s, would have been a stone construct. I could be wrong. I often am. Now we walk past it, another view of where Llanddulas station was, just past this viaduct. That building there used to be an RNLI lifeboat station, and there you can see the Llanddulas Quarry Jetty. My previous walk over the Rainbow Bridge, we looked at that jetty from the other side over there, and then over there, that's Colwyn Bay. I'm trying to zoom in here, but my phone, oh there we go, my phone won't let me, and now it has. Probably my fault. So there you go, there's the jetty. That's Colwyn Bay. Going along the front there to Ross-on-Sea, the little horn behind it. Let's zoom out again. This beautiful, calm sea. Look how clear it is there as well. Very nice. Absolutely stunning. And here we can come back to Evelyn Waugh again, because in his book Decline and Fall, Evelyn Waugh describes coming down to the beach here to end it all. When he'd swum out a little way, he got stung by a jellyfish, so he says, and that made him turn back round and swim back in and carry on going about his business. The reason Evelyn Waugh wanted to end it all was because he said that without God the world was unintelligible and unendurable. Can't get over how nice it is, really. Okay, we're going to go over there now, up a little lane under the railway and back to where we began the walk. Can't really read that one. Do not climb on or over rocks. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Pick your dog poop up. Ooh, sun's coming out again. Yeehaw! Wind. Hello. Alright. Oh, yeah. Not bad, mate. Bearing up, you know. Aye, mate, and me. Who knows what's going on over there? Looks like they're intending to do something with that now closed down block of toilets. Not sure what. Personally, I think I'd rather have the toilets. But hey ho. Lovely autumn colours. Gorgeous. I can't get over what a lovely day this is. Mid-late October. It's like middle of summer. Once again, another absolutely and thoroughly enjoyable walk. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back to where we started. And that's the end of this video. So once again, I hope you found it reasonably enjoyable. And thanks for watching. As ever, look after yourselves. Hopefully see you soon. Bye bye.